Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. Um, I had some kind of bizarre dreams in the last couple of weeks that I wanted to tell you about. And so I don't know if you remember last week was we had the seventh day of second Passover. And I remember these days right here. It was Monday the 29th, Tuesday the 30th, and Wednesday, May 1st. I had I had intense dreams on these 3 days, and the first 2 days right here on the 29th and the 30th, I for some reason I had these pilot dreams, and so the first night, the first dream that I had was, you guys are gonna laugh. I dreamt about Indiana Jones again. I don't know why I've had a couple of dreams about Indiana Jones. I don't know why, because I wasn't watching that movie or anything like that this time. Last time I was, but this time I wasn't, so I don't know what that's about. But anyway, Indiana Jones was a pilot, and I got into this plane, and there were other people in the plane, and there was also a Muslim woman in the plane. And and when we went to take off, the plane was inside of a hangar, an enclosed building, like an airplane hangar, and the plane started moving toward what was a concrete wall, and I thought we were going to crash into this concrete wall. But instead, we went right through the concrete wall, and when we came out on the other side, we were in the clouds. So that was the first night. That was the dream that I had here. And then the next night, I dreamt of pilots again. And I had this dream that this pilot said to me, I was in this big, huge ballroom, and there was a formal dance going on or something. And this pilot said to me something to the effect of, "We're leaving," or something like that. And I went over to this wall, and on the wall there were all these pilot helmets. And I knew which pilot was my pilot, the one that said that we were leaving. But I noticed that a lot of the helmets had this eye on the top of the helmet. And so I was really worried that my pilot was going to have that eye on his helmet. But then when I found his helmet, I was really relieved to see that he did not have the eye. But a lot of the helmets had the eye. Most of the helmets had the eye. There were only a few that didn't have the eye. So then later in the dream, I saw my pilot and three other pilots standing in a row, and I heard four pilots, and I had the understanding somehow that those were the four pilots that did not have the eye on their helmet. And it made me think of the four winds, from Matthew 24, and I think it's in Revelation as well, where it says the elect are taken to the four winds. And so that's what it made me think of. So that was right here on the 30th. So I had two dreams in a row right on the seventh day of second Passover having to do with pilots. So I thought, wow, I wonder if I'm going to have one here. But instead, I did have an intense dream right here on May 1st, but I don't remember anything having to do with pilots. Instead, it was this white wall, and I knew that a tidal wave was coming from the west, and I was facing the west, and I was facing this huge white wall, and I was facing in the direction that the tidal wave was coming from, and I knew the tidal wave was coming from the west, a huge tidal wave coming from the west. So that was pretty, those three dreams, or at least the first two that I had right here, were really, really intense about the pilots. And then I had this really weird dream this last week. It was really intense, but I only remember two things about it. And the first thing that I remember was there was this old-fashioned tape recorder and a cassette tape. And the cassette tape said on it, Irish 8.0. And I thought that was weird. After I woke up, I thought that was weird because I just never thought of Ireland as being earthquake country, so I thought maybe it means something else, I don't know, but that was what it said, Irish 8.0. And then I think it was that same night that I had this weird dream about the San Mateo Mountains, and I didn't know what the San Mateo Mountains were. I had to go look it up online, and it turns out that they're in New Mexico. And there's also a San Mateo County over in California, but in my dream, I was really sure it wasn't San Mateo County, it was San Mateo Mountain. So I don't know if they have the mountains over there in California or not. The only San Mateo Mountains I could find are in New Mexico. But the dream was, and it was one of those dreams that I kept repeating to myself over and over in the dream so that I would remember when I woke up. And I kept repeating to myself, troops in the San Mateo Mountains, troops in the San Mateo Mountains. And I just kept repeating it over and over in my mind so that I would remember, because for some reason in my dream it was that important that I was actually reminding myself so that I wouldn't forget, because there was a lot in that dream and I forgot all of it. I only remember those two things. So after I woke up, I remember thinking it was more than just troops. There was something very weird about, something different about those troops. And I'm not sure what it was, but it was something more than just troops, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I can't remember what it was. That was the word that I was using to remind myself to remember the dream. Anyway, I have no idea what that means. I thought it was really weird. So I thought I should tell you. Okay, then I had a vision a couple of nights ago. And in the vision, there was a sheet hanging on a wall or something like that. And Jesus came over to the sheet and he sliced it right about 1/3 of the way. He just sliced it, just sliced it straight across, and this bottom part fell. And I saw these clusters of grapes up here, and Jesus kind of cupped his hands around this to show that these grapes, and they were all through here, to show that these grapes were precious to him, and they were just clusters all through this area right here. And I noticed that when he cut this sheet off, there were some people hanging right here. and they were hanging onto this string that went through all of the grapes. And Jesus came over and he pulled the whole string out. So I'm not sure what that was. But the other thing that I noticed about this was that all down here was where most of the people were. So these were all people. Like these clusters of grapes, I knew that they represented like the good wheat, those that are preserved off of the earth. I knew that, from reading the scriptures. The grapes, the wheat, the sheep, the silver and the gold. I knew that's who they were. But these down here, also I knew, okay, this must be the chaff. But the thing that was so kind of weird about it was that this area in here was sparse. It was kind of empty, and there were just a few stragglers in here. But all of the stragglers were moving in this direction. So even when Jesus cut this off, they didn't even notice. They were all trying to get down here. They had no interest in this up here, except for, like I said, this little pocket right here that was pulled out. But that was just bizarre, and it made me think of the scriptures that says the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. So it was like this. It was like our world was upside down, and I had the understanding that this down here was the top of society, and that was why everyone was trying to get here, because this was considered the top. But in reality, it's the bottom, and this is the top. That's why nobody was interested in this, because it was... Anyway, the good shall be considered bad, and the bad shall be considered good. And that's what it makes me think of. And that's why it was so easy when Jesus cut this off, that it was so easy to do it, because nobody wanted to be up here. Nobody wanted to be here, because they all thought this was the bad place to be, but it's not. In reality, it was the good place to be. But anyway, there was only one very small pocket of people. But the other thing that I noticed... Oh, by the way, it also reminds me of that scripture that says, I think it's in Revelation, it says, let those who are righteous be righteous still, and let those who are evil be evil still, or something like that. I can't remember the exact verse, but that's what this reminded me of. Like nobody that was down here wanted to be up here. They had no interest in being part of the grapes, part of the silver and the gold. No interest at all. But anyway, the other thing that I noticed about it was that he cut it off about 1/3 of the way. So if this whole sheet represented the entire population on Earth, that would be over 7 billion people. And so 1/3 of that would be over 2 billion people. And that was what really got me after I thought about it, was, wait a minute, maybe, because in Revelation 7, it says that John saw a multitude of people that couldn't be counted. So it made me think, well, wow, maybe it's over wow, is it over 2 billion people, that's what it looked like, because he cut it off like at 1/3. I know there's that scripture that says that out of the, the parable of the virgins in Matthew 25, where they all go forth to meet the bridegroom, and half of them don't go into the ark. But that's just the ones that are going forth to meet the bridegroom. That's not the whole population of the earth. Like in the vision that I saw, it was the whole population of the earth. and like 2/3 of them were cut off, and a third of them were preserved. So I don't know. I mean, that sounds like it's over 2 billion people that are going to be saved. Okay, so I guess that's pretty much it. The only other thing that I wanted to tell you guys was in the last couple of weeks, I've been waking up to the sound of like bells, like miniature bells. And it's like I wake up in the middle of the night and I feel like I'm completely awake, but maybe I'm still half asleep, I'm not sure. But I feel like I'm completely awake and I just lay there and I listen to these what sounds like these little miniature bells, and it's so weird. And I don't remember this ever happening before, and it's only been happening like in the last couple of weeks. It's bizarre. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm still working on a document for you guys that you can download, and it's gonna be. I want it to be really complete, so I'm not finished with it yet. But I just wanted you guys to know that I'm still working on that. So I'll definitely let you know when I finish. So I hope you guys are doing well, and I will talk to you later. Okay, bye bye.